Hello. I'm here today interviewing Madison Herdman. Um, Maddie, why don't you just tell us where you work, what you do?
I work at Olean General Hospital in the IT department as a clinical application analyst.
Very nice. I just have a couple of questions for you about IT and basically what goes on at the hospital. So first question, what is the current electronic health record that you use at your facility?
Olean General and Bradford Regional Medical Center both use Meditech. Um, we have like four different hospitals. It's Cuba, Brooks up in Dunkirk, Olean General, and then Bradford.
And how long have you guys been using this system?
They implemented it at the facilities in 2011, and I have been working within it for the last year.
So what kind of interdisciplinary members are involved in this selection of your electronic health record?
So they transitioned way before I worked there, but it was a group decision. The decision was made by all of the managers of all of the departments at the hospital. So like care management, all of the nursing managers on all of the floors, dietary, IT was definitely a big part, as well as all of like the administrative staff.
Very nice. Um, what about like a nurse informaticist at your facility? Do you have one of those? And if you do, like what kind of is like their role? And like, do you collaborate with them at all, if any?
So we have a lot of clinicians that work within the I or work within or with the IT department. So first we do have a nurse who worked at OAN for about 20 plus years before she made the move to IT about 3 years ago. So we have her. She does all the provider trainings as well as leads a lot of our change control meetings, which are with all of the nursing staff talking about how it's gonna be the best way to go about things with changes. We also have a clinical education team who are responsible for going over all of the documentation that we make in IT and teaching it to all of the nursing staff. So they play a big part in all of the decisions that we do with like making changes to the EHR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So kind of going off that, like what role would you say that nurses play in reviewing your current system and like addressing concerns with documentation
Mhm.
and like anything that has to do with considering updates?
So we do updates to the system quarterly for just like Meditech. But when I was saying before with like the change control meetings, we meet with each department monthly. So for in Meditech, the modules or applications, we have one for like the emergency department, we have one for OR scheduling, nursing, which is like PCS, it's like patient care system. We all of those groups meet monthly to go over tickets that we have in, which are like the requests that come in for updates to documentation, as well as like order sets, orders being made, procedures, um, pretty much anything that has to do with anything that affects nursing or providers goes through a process before it is implemented. So everything that we do is communicated with nursing staff before it is put into like the live environment, which all the users see.
Okay, that's great. Um, what's one of the biggest challenges that you see with the patient care technology that you guys currently use in Meditech?
Mhm. So Meditech is just an old system. When we implemented it back in 2011, it was one of the big three. It was like Meditech, Cerner, and then another one. So the making the move to it was an easy decision, but now in like 2024, it's just a little outdated. And due to that, there's quite a bit of limitations in what we can do with it.
Yeah.
So, for example, like anesthesiology, they have to chart like every 5 minutes, and that would be best to do in like a graph format.
Mhm.
But since they do all their work out of one of our applications. We cannot make that work. So currently, some departments are still on paper because we're unable to fulfill their requests
Mhm.
in the system just because it wouldn't make sense for how they're like working currently.
Yeah, that sounds like it would be a big challenge. So
Yeah.
for sharing that. Last question. If you could give some advice to nurses regarding, information technology, what do you think that would be?
My advice would probably be if you see any issues with the EHR or like functionality wise, like we keep missing this one question and it's kind of like pertinent to patient care,
Mhm.
that you can reach out to IT and be like, I think this needs to be required. So just kind of staying vigilant in making sure that nothing within the EHR is affecting patient care. We want it to be there. Like implementing safeguards is always a good option. So basically, for nursing, I would say just staying aware and kind of conscious of that if um, updates can be made, we can most likely complete them. So
All right. Well,
kind
thank
of
you.
always keeping patient safety in mind.
Yes, that is probably the most important thing
Yeah.
in a hospital. Well, that's all my questions. I just want to say thank you for your time. It's been
Oh, of
lovely
course.
talking with you.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Have a good one.
You too.